12 months ago, you got a bit of a mailing thing about a bid, you look at it, throw it in the bin, or not really interested, until it got nearer and nearer, and then somebody brought me the big file that they'd done of what they were going to do, and I was reading through it, and I noticed the thing that hit me there was 2 jobs were being raised through this, which are going to cost £96,000 wages. So at this stage, I thought, well, I'll just have a look into this. And I asked around, and people, I don't know. Some said maybe this, maybe. So I decided to call Hugh Evans, is the guy who is organising this on behalf of Southport. Phoned him up, got a meeting with him up at the promenade there. And I met him, and while I was there, the guy from the council walked in, who is where's that told you? It doesn't matter. That's this guy. I didn't know who he was, but he appeared at the meeting, so it was 2 on to 1. And now it finds out he works for the council, and his name is Mark Casserole. So he was there, and I asked him why, and he said, oh, it's just for information purposes. But I began to think the council are more behind this than we think. So facts from there, really. I asked Hugh Evans, was he being paid for this? And he said yes, and believe it or not, he was getting a £30,000 fee for doing this. Now, his job, or his permanent job, is Northwest Chamber of Commerce. That's what he works for. And we all know what happened to the Southport Chamber of Commerce. So he works for them, and he did the Preston bid, which got through. And then he's got this bid, and I believe he's got another one. So he's virtually a professional organiser of bids at £30,000 a throw. And I shouldn't think he's bothered win or lose, except the more he wins, the more jobs he'll get. But I don't think he's really concerned about Southport as such.
So, may I ask, does this guy work with the Chamber of Commerce or for the Chamber of Commerce?
For them. He's employed by them. He's employed and paid by Northwest.
He's also drawing a fee as a private consultant as well.
That's right. Yes. So this amazed me really. This 96,000, which got me into it. So then I had a long session with him. They were trying to tell me what wonderful things were going to happen, and basically they're arguing that by raising this money, they're going to fill the shops on Law Street. That's their big argument. I just drove down today and my wife counted, and there's 21 empty shops on Law Street now. Now, as far as I'm concerned, they're empty because of the rates are too high and the rents are too high. And what these people are going to do about that, I have no idea. I just can't see them doing it. The second point is the internet is taking sales away, and that's a fact of life, so you can't replace that. And of course, you've got Liverpool 1, and you've got the Trafford Centre, and then you've got the car parking problem. So when you accumulate all those together, that's the problem. And it also dates back to when Southport was a county borough and we looked after ourselves, and we used to be tying with Bournemouth every year who was the cheapest rates in England. It was them one year and us the other. Then we go into Sefton, and slowly but surely it's gone downhill ever since, to the point now where our council don't have a say in anything. Everything's outvoted by Bootle, and we know what they think of Southport. They closing libraries, etc., which, you know, they don't close them in Bootle, but they close Southport. And then this bid thing, right, come on in. One of the famous sayings is put the colour back into Southport. And the funny thing, I met the friend the other day who started to say, what's happening with your no sign? I said, well, we're organising it. But he was looking at a video of the 80s, and he said how wonderful. There was flowers, blooms, everything everywhere. And in fact, we used to win the best bloom in England at times. And since these last 10 years, they've just backed off it. If there were no volunteers, there wouldn't be any flowers on Rotten Row, Hesketh Park, and so it goes on. So it's a council backing off. And this bid people are saying that this money's nothing to do with the council, I think the fact is the council are running out of money and we've got to try and regenerate the town. Well, I'm not arguing, we do need to regenerate the town, but this isn't the method of doing it. So it went on, and they're all generalising, they're going to do this, they're going to do that. So the fact is, I went through these figures with him, and there's also the lady, we've got a chair lady, right, so you can only be chair of something. I asked them how did they form the committee to start this. Oh, there is no committee, there's nothing. But she keeps signing as chair, this Alison, whatever. So she's, and we all, well, I can't say any more, but we think there's motivation. She's had 2 shops in Southport. She's not in retail anymore, only online. So I can't see what she knows about retail that all of us, you know, do ourselves. We're there every day doing things. So I went through these figures. They're expecting to collect 260 odd thousand. It's in here, I've lost the file. That's it, thank you. Right. Oh, it was in here. Right. Now, have you all seen this at all? This is their printout by the bid people. So this is where we come to the figures and the nitty gritty. They're hoping to collect £460,000 per year at the 1.5%. Then they increase it by radio income subscription of £7,000. I couldn't work that out anyway. They tell me what it is the radios in the town with the police connection and the intercom, and you know, somebody's coming out of Marks and Spencer's with a green coat and all squad cars come and they arrest them and all the rest, which you know doesn't happen. In fact, it's been a failure. But this firm who are going to run it on behalf of the bid are volunteering £7,000 back as a gift. So they ain't giving £7,000 back unless they're getting, well, whatever. I don't know they're going to get in. So there's obviously a deal on there. The voluntary contributions of £10,000 are from the council, who are hiding behind this facade. The council behind all this. This 10,000 is coming from them.
Is that which one-off?
No, that's every year, but it's the 10,000. And the sponsorship of 10,000, I asked them who was that. They hadn't got a sponsor at the time, so they couldn't answer that. Anyway, the sum thing of all this is they get 487,000 if all that comes in. But I'm more interested in what we're going to pay, which is 460,000. Right, outgoing. They've got all kinds of things, but the big thing is employers' overheads, legal and administration, £96,000. Now, when I asked them that, they said, oh, that's a bit high, because it includes some rent, which the council are now not going to charge. But either way, they've quoted it, and it's in their figures, 96,000. I then asked them, what about pensions and pensions rights? If they're going to work for this, they're going to work for the council. The answer was silence, but they'd have to look into that. And who's going to pay the redundancy if it doesn't work? And oh, it will work. It's not, that's not been accounted for. And then you come to this one, levy collection, which is £15,000 to collect it. So out of that, you've got 111,000 gone before they've even got anything, which equates, on our figure of the collection, never mind these little bits, it's 24.1%. So every pound that you pay them, they're taking 25 pence straight out without anything left. So that's the financial side of it. And they're saying that with all this money, which is now down to 200 and something thousand, well, if you take it over the 5 years, you're talking 480,000 in wages and 75,000 to collect it. So they're left with this, they keep saying this 2.3 million, but that's over 5 years. Now how that's going to regenerate the town, I have no idea, because I don't know what they think they do. That starts with two workers, right? Preston started with 2, but we've got Mike here is going to talk about, sorry, you're talking about Preston. You're going to have a few words, all right? Okay. And you've got some facts and figures on wages and things just to fill in on that. But they started that way. They're all saying how successful Preston is, and they're going to have a guy on Thursday speaking about it. And they also say how well Liverpool is. Well, Liverpool, obviously Liverpool's well. We got Liverpool won. They've spent hundreds of millions on it. So I don't think that's anything to do with the bid. You know, it's a magnificent shopping area. Well, everything. But I mean, it's magnificent. I mean, it's, you know, a massive development down to the waterfront.
There's no comparison, is it?
No, you just, the bid doesn't have anything to do at all. But they don't mention Blackpool. Now, Blackpool did a bid, and I asked this Hugh Evans at my meeting, I said, and what about Blackpool? And his reply was, it's a total mess that, let's move on. Now that is his honest, that was his answer. They don't want to know Blackpool, a total failure. Southport's also had 2 bids knocked back in the past.
The same consultant did Blackpool.
I can't know, he didn't